lecture is on how to calculate the net charge of the amino acid. This is Dr. Saranya. I am talking to you on this topic. So this is one of the most challenging and the trickiest topic of this biochemistry, but I have made it very simple for you. Yes. So first we will understand what are the terms that are associated with calculating net charge. Number one, it is going to be the protonated form. What do you mean by proton? Proton is nothing but, yes, it is going to contain the charge, isn't it? So probably you call this H plus as proton. Could have used this in H plus NMR also, isn't it? So H plus or your hydronium ion, it is one of the protonated form. Yes. So it whichever it is going to give the proton, it is called as the protonated. For instance, if you take this NH3, okay, so this NH3, it has the ability to donate H plus. After donating H plus, the NH3 is going to become NH2. Thereby, this NH2, it is said to be in the protonated form because it is containing the H plus within, right? And if you look at the charge of this NH3 plus, it is plus 1 charge. Okay, so what are the other protonated forms that are present in your amino acid? It is going to be the carboxylic group. So this carboxylic group, it is containing this hydrogen ion. Okay, so this is also a protonated form. But does this carboxylic acid group with H, it has any charge? No, the charge is going to be 0. Why? COO is minus, H is plus, right? So put together, it is not having any charge. The charge becomes 0. But these two are regarded as the protonated forms. Why protonated form? Because they are able to donate the protons. Yes? Okay. So we will just recap this one more time. First, we have learned what is an protonated form. Protonated means already it is containing this H plus ion. First example or the first model within the amino acid, it is going to be NH3 plus because it is able to donate your H plus. So after donation, it is going to become NH2, right? Yes. So what is the charge of this NH3 plus? It is going to be of plus 1 charge, right? So the second example of the protonated form that is present within the amino acid is COOH group. So this is also able to donate H plus. So after donation, it is going to become COO minus. But now the charge of COOH is going to be 0. Why 0? COO minus is minus charge, H plus is plus charge. Both put together, it is going to become 0 charge. So this is about the protonated forms that are present within your amino acid, right? Likewise, you have the acceptors of the H plus. So if at all you are accepting something, yes, so you are a donor, you are regarded as plus. You are accepting something, that thing becomes minus, isn't it? So these forms are called as deprotonated forms. Okay, deprotonation, that means removal of the H plus or no, yes. So initially you are not having the H plus. So without H plus, that is what is called as deprotonated. Initially it could have been COOH. Now you remove the H, it becomes COO minus without the proton. Without the proton is what is called as the deprotonation. Okay, no proton is here. So this deprotonated form, first one it is going to be COO minus. So the charge is becoming minus 1. What about NH2? Initially it could have been NH3 plus. Now you remove this plus H, right? So that is going to become now NH2. So does it have any charge? No. So the charge is becoming 0. Yes. So two things we have read so far. What is that? Number 1, it is going to be the protonated form. Number 2, it is going to be this deprotonated form. Under this protonated form, protonation is nothing but it is with reference to H plus. Protonated means it contains H plus. Okay, so that means it can be able to give. When you have only you can give. Okay, so here there is already removed H plus. Okay, so probably they are waiting for the acceptance. Got? Okay, so the points that we saw here, it is going to be NH3 plus. So this is going to be containing this H plus. So it is going to be donating. So the charge is becoming plus 1. Right. Second one is COOH. So the net charge becomes 0. Right. So this is the charge. Next here, whenever there is the deprotonated form, that means it is already removed. Right. So here if NH3 is there, if you remove the H, it becomes NH2. So is there any charge? The net charge becomes 0 here. And here it becomes COO minus. You have removed the H, no? So it has become COO minus. So the net charge is becoming minus 1. That is the negative charge. So this is the very, very basic thing, the step 1 to understand for calculating the net charge of the amino acid. Now we will make a deep dive into this. Fine. So this is what it happens in general. Now I am going to change the media pH. Okay, right. So does the pH has any influence on charge? Does the pH has any influence on charge? Obviously it has an influence on charge. Why? Because we know that pH is nothing but it is the negative logarithm of H plus ion concentration. Isn't it? Yes. What is the pH? It is the negative logarithm of H plus ion concentration. That means that whenever I increase my pH, whenever the pH is high pH means maybe 13, maybe 14. Yes. So I increase the pH. At this increased pH, what happens to the H plus concentration? It is inversely proportional. So this H plus becomes low. Whenever the H plus is becoming low, what will happen to my amino acid? It will become deprotonated. Deprotonated means all my H plus ions will be removed. Got the point? Okay. So what will happen whenever I lower my pH? Whenever the pH is lowered, right? So the H plus ions, they will increase in the concentration. So if the H plus ion is increased, it attains the protonated form. So that is why you might note that if it is going to be, yes, if it is going to be a lower pH, all of them it will be in the protonated form. But if you higher the pH, they will all become in the deprotonated form. Yes? Okay, fine. So this is what it is, the influence on the amino acid. Alright, fine. So let us make up a move into the next one. Right. So for instance, so this is my amino acid. Okay, so R it is going to be the side chain. Right. So apart from that I will contain H. Right. And this is going to be this amino group. This is going to be the carboxylic group. This is the basic structure of any kind of amino acid. Right. So now how is this state? Is this in the protonated form or it is in the deprotonated form? We have just seen if it is going to be in the protonated form, it will have these groups. It is going to be in the deprotonated form, it will have these groups. So this is in which form? This is in complete protonated form. Isn't it? Yeah, so it is present in a complete protonated form. Protonated form means here also NH3 plus, here also COOH, right? So both are completely protonated. So this structure, it is representing the complete protonation form. So what is the charge? The charge becomes plus 1. Got it? So whenever your amino acid, it is present in this combination, it is going to have a net charge of plus 1. Right. Now see here. So what has happened? it is become NH2 and COO minus. Whenever it is going to be NH2, what is the net charge of this NH2 group? It is becoming 0. But the COO minus, it will become -1. Isn't it? So the net charge becomes -1. I am not considering this R. Okay. I am speaking about only this basic groups. I mean only this skeleton. I am not considering R still. Okay. So this is what it is present in complete deprotonated form. Completely all the protons are removed now. Isn't it? So that is what is called as deprotonated form. All the protons are now removed off. So this is what is called as the complete deprotonated form. Good? Right. Yes. So why should there be a complete protonation? Why should there be a complete deprotonation? There is going to be an incomplete deprotonation. See here. If at all there is going to be a complete protonation, okay, so if there is going to be a complete deprotonation, what will happen? Yes, this is going to become NH2, this is going to become COO minus, H and R. But now you can see that it has not yet achieved this condition. NH2 is there, but still this COO is present in a protonated form. So this becomes a partial deprotonation. Right. So it is partially deprotonated. Is it possible? Yes. When it is possible? See here, we have a range of pH. Right. So the pH of 1, 2, 3. Okay. So whenever the pH is going to be low, yes, so it is going to be highly protonated. Whenever the pH is going to be high, like 10 to 14, it is going to have a high pH. So how will be the protonation? The protonation, it is going to be the low protonation. Isn't it? Right. So when the pH is becoming high, the protonation, it becomes low. Absolutely. So here, if you take the mid values, so it is going to become partial deprotonation. So one such example is this. Okay, so there is a partial deprotonation. Does COOH has any charge? COOH, does it have any charge? No charge. NH2, does it have a charge? No charge. Got the point? Yes. But here, if it is deprotonated, it becomes -1. If it is totally protonated, it becomes +1. But partial deprotonation, it doesn't have any charge. See this classical example. NH3 plus, so plus charge. COO is minus. So the net charge becomes 0. So this is also a partial deprotonated state. Clear everybody till this? Okay, come on. Let us make a move into the still more important concept. Yes. So you have to remember that what happens when we change the pH. We know that pH, it is equal to negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration. So whenever there is a high pH, your H plus becomes low. So it reaches the deprotonated form. Whenever the pH is going to be low, there is a high H plus ion concentration. So they are in the protonated form. Clear? Whenever they are protonated only, they can donate. Literally that is the meaning. Okay, fine. If it is deprotonated, it will be accepting only. Acceptor is always negative. Giver is going to be always positive. Got it? Yes. Okay, fine. So how many times all these amino acids can undergo deprotonation? This is a very, very important statement. Right. So usually all the amino acids, what are the amino acid category we have? We have the neutral amino acids like our alanine is there, valine is there. We used to call them as gap will met, isn't it? What is that? Glycine, alanine, proline, valine, isoleucine, leucine, methionine. Right. So all these neutral amino acids Apart from that, you have your whichever things are neutral, you have all other things like your tryptophan, tyrosine, phenylalanine, right? So serine, all those things. Okay, apart from all this basic and acidic, all are almost neutral. So all these they have the deprotonation only 2 times. Yes, number of deprotonation is just 2 times. But if you take the basic amino acids like lysine, arginine and histidine, they have an additional R group, isn't it? So your normal group will undergo deprotonation once, but all these extra group, they will undergo one more time. So thereby 1 time is increased. So the number of deprotonation becomes 3 times. So in general, what are the groups that undergo protonation and deprotonation? Your NH3 plus, your COOH. So that is why your usual amino acids are undergoing deprotonation twice. But in case of these basic amino acids, you have an extra R group, right? So that is why it is undergoing deprotonation 3 times. What are they? Lysine, arginine, histidine. Likewise, all the acidic amino acids. What are they? Yes, glutamic acid, aspartic acid. They also undergo extra time of deprotonation because of their R group. Got it? Okay. So this is the basic knowledge. Now comes the real point. Okay. So what will happen at the low pH? I told you that whenever the pH is going to be low, for instance, you take the pH 1 or pH 3. At this low pH, what will happen? There is going to be high amount of protonation. Protonation means it will contain all the H plus group, isn't it? Right. Yes. But whenever you are increasing the pH, initially it is at pH 1. Now you are increasing it to pH 3. So now as the pH increases, the degree of protonation will decrease. So it becomes deprotonated. Okay. So initially at pH 1, it is highly protonated. This stage it is. But if you keep on increasing the pH, maybe you come to 3. So this reaches the first deprotonation state. Maybe if you still increase the pH, it will go to the next stage. And at very high pH, yes, it is going to come to this deprotonated form. So this is how the carboxylic acid group behave. Got the point? So this is how the carboxylic acid group behave in case of the low pH. Likewise, if at all you are having a very high pH, what will happen? At a very high pH, what is the relationship between the protonation? High pH, low protonation. So it will become totally deprotonated. Deprotonated means you are going to remove the proton. Right. Yes. So at your high pH, whenever the pH is high, this condition, it is totally becoming deprotonated. All the protons are removed. Okay. So if you remove all the protons, even if it is going to be your neutral amino acid, it is becoming a net charge of negative. Okay. So these two conditions you have to remember. Strictly speaking, this is the original paper in 1989. So where they give the total charge or chart of the net charge of any amino acid with respect to the pH. But literally nobody can able to memorize all these values. So what I have done for you is I have condensed all this information in a very, very simple chart. Okay. So if you want to solve the problems pertaining to calculation of the net charge of any peptide, you have to definitely memorize this table. No go. Okay. Fine. So let us see the logic behind this table. Okay. So I am considering by basic amino acid. If at all I am having my basic amino acid, right, I am lowering the pH. Yes. So think of, if I lower the pH, what will happen to the proton? It will be heavily protonated. Correct? Right. Fine. If at all I have a high pH, what it will happen? It will be deprotonated. So that is the logic here. Okay. So if I take the basic I have my normal amino group. Yes, apart from that, I will be having this R group. Okay, so both of them, they have the chance of getting protonated, highly protonated. So that is why for basic, at low pH, it is showing +2. Okay, right. The same way, opposite it happens in the acidic, isn't it? In acidic, it is mainly having this carboxylic group. Already one carboxylic group is deprotonated at the acidic pH or that at high pH, and one more thing, it is having an R group. So that is why it is -2 whenever I take a greater pH. Yes, so basic at low pH, it will be highly protonated. That is the characteristic of a basic amino acid, plus. If it is going to be acidic at high pH, it is totally deprotonated. No, it's COO minus. This R is also containing the COO minus. So two negative groups are there. So that is becoming -2. This way I understood this table. Okay, so you can memorize in your own way. Right? Okay. So at low pH, it is going to be +2. Now I am increasing the pH. If I keep on increasing the pH, it is going to lead to deprotonation. Right? So this is my first deprotonation. So from +2, it is becoming +1. And next, there is no change. No. So we saw this group. So it is becoming only +1 again. Right. Finally, this R group is also now removed. So it is becoming -1. Okay. So you have to remember that for basic amino acid. So this 1, 3, 7, 13, it is the range. Okay. So maybe this is 0 to 1. This is 2 to 3. This is going to be 4 to 7. This is going to be 8 to 13. Okay, so all these table I have just condensed and put the values for you. Okay, right, fine. So this is the range that you have to remember. For example, in your exam, question comes that your pH is going to be 1.8. Which column you will refer? Yes. So it is going to be 1.8, right? So you will come after 1, it becomes this column, isn't it? Right. I think I have put it like this here. But it is going to be after 1 only, it is going to come here. Because till 1, you can put it as till 3. It is till 7. This is till 13. Okay. So whatever values are till 1, you look it here. Till 3, you look it here. So 1.8 is coming under till 3. So you will look at this table. Got it? Okay. So what is the value for basic? It is 2, 1, 1, minus 1. Okay. Only 4 values. 2, 1, 1, minus 1. So this is for basic amino acid. Right? So we will make a memory one more time. Yes, everybody come on, read with me only. Later you will not get a time. Yes. So if it is going to be basic, what are the pH range we took? 1, 3, 7, and then, yes, the highest value, 11 to 13. Right, fine. So if it is going to be basic, it is +2, then +1, then +1, then -1. That's it. 2, 1, 1, -1. Yes? Okay. So likewise, so basic, it includes your lysine and arginine. Okay. But histidine is little bit different. The difference alone you have to study. At pH 7, it is almost 0. Okay. Yes. But all other values remain the same. But at the pH 7, it behaves almost neutral. Okay. That is the charm of histidine. Next, coming to acidic, it is 1, 0, -1, -2. Okay. So acidic, it is 1, 0, -1, -2. Right. Neutral, +1, 0, 0, -1. So how it could have behaved? Shall we just give a try how this could have happened? Yes? Okay, we will just take one example and see how this could have happened. Okay. So what is the, how is your amino acid? See, this is going to be NH3+. This is a low pH. Whenever this is going to be a low pH, what I said, it is going to be highly protonated. So NH is becoming NH3+. Then see, this is R, this is H. So this is also protonated. So this becomes COOH. So the net charge becomes positive. Next, you increase the pH. So if you increase the pH, it is becoming deprotonated. So this becomes like maybe, yes, it becomes like NH2. One proton is lost. NH2, C, R, H, COOH. Now will it have a net charge? Will it have a net charge? No. The net charge is becoming 0 because this doesn't have charge, this doesn't have charge. So the net charge is becoming 0. Here maybe this is NH3 plus, right? Another form. This is CRH. This is becoming COO minus. So this minus and this plus gets cancelled. So the net charge becomes 0, right? So what will happen in case of this pH 13? It is in the fully deprotonated form. So if it is going to be in this full deprotonated form, it behaves like NH2 CRH COO minus. So this doesn't have any charge. So only the charge is COO minus. So it becomes like -1. Now you understood the logic of how we are putting this table? Clear? Okay. So the point is basic, it is going to be 2 1 1 minus 1 plus 2 1 0 minus 1 plus 1 0 minus 1 minus 2 plus 1 0 0 minus 1. If you remember this table, definitely calculating the charge becomes so easy for you. Right. Good everyone. Come on. So let us take one question. An amino acid, it has one proton donating group in this R chain. Proton donating group in this R chain. Okay. So this pK of carboxylic acid and your amino group and pKa value, it is given in this amino acid. So by looking the pKa only, you will know whether it is acidic or basic. So which is the common? Why? So I will put one more video on calculating your isoelectric point. Okay. So if at all you look at this, you may find this odd man out. Okay. So if 3 values are given, one value will be odd man. Remove that value. So you have to consider only the other 2. Yes. So this is going to become 2.19 and 4.25. So these 2 are acidic or basic? They are acidic. So you now know the nature of this amino group. It is going to be highly acidic. Right. So this should be in your mind. Now they are asking. So you have to remember the acidic. So acidic means it is in the second column. You remember this? Yes. So in the third column, it is going to be +1, 0, -1, -2. So this is what you have to remember. The value for acidic. Now they say that the majority of the molecules, they will have the net charge of -1 at pH 7. Check the table for acidic pH 7. This is acidic. This is going to be for the pH 7. So what is that? It is becoming -1. Yes, absolutely this is a correct value. Isn't it? Right. The next one says that the majority of the molecules, it will have the net charge of 0 at pH of 4. Okay. So at pH of 4 means after 3. So from 3 to 7 it is this column only. Is this having this value? It is only -1. They say that the net charge is becoming 0. So this is wrong. Coming to the third statement, all the molecules will have the deprotonated R group at pH of 3. Is it so? Check the pH of 3. pH of 3, it is going to be almost 0. They say that they will have the deprotonated group. If it is deprotonated group, then means it is become -1. So this statement is also wrong. During the titration with a strong base, deprotonation will start with the R group. Never. R is the last. First your NH3 plus will undergo the deprotonation. So this is also wrong. So exactly the correct answer is going to be option A. Got it? Okay. Now let us have a look into the second question. Very, very important question. Most frequently asked question. Right. So a polypeptide with this amino acid sequence A, G, K, P, D, H, E, K, A, H, L. This was dissolved in a buffer of pH 1.8. The predominant form of the polypeptide will have a net charge of what? Good. So whenever you are getting any kind of polypeptide sequence, it is understood that it should begin with the N terminus, okay, and then it will have this sequence, okay. Even if they are giving in the question or not, it is always obvious that it is going to contain a N terminus and it is going to end with the C terminus, right. So this is the usual routine form of any kind of thing, right. So now if you take this, right, so what is going to be the charge whenever you dissolve in the buffer of pH 1.8? So it is going to be a low pH, right, and also we have the table. So you have to look at the second value 3. Whenever there is a pH of 3, what will happen? Okay. So whenever there is the pH of 3, what will happen to your amino group? This is going to have one positive charge, right. So this is a neutral one, don't consider. This is also neutral one, don't consider. What about lysine? It will have +1. Isn't it? +1 charge. We have seen that. If it is going to be a basic amino acid, it will have a +1 charge. Proline, no charge. What about this D? Will it have any charge at this low pH? No. Eliminate. Histidine, it is going to have a +1 charge. No charge. This is +1 charge. No charge. Again +1 charge. Then it is going to have no charge. So this is charge is also not there. So totally count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. So this is how you have to calculate the net charge of any given peptide. So what are the points you should consider? Yes. First you should consider that it is going to contain an N terminus and then it is going to contain this is the amino terminus and this is going to be the carboxylic acid terminus. Okay, so this is why it is called as an amino acid. If you take this end, right, so this is going to contain an NH3 plus. So at the low pH, always we saw that NH3 it is going to get protonated. Okay, fine. So if at all the question is for higher pH, at that time this C over will become C over minus. This NH2 will be NH3 plus will become NH2. So this will happen only under high pH condition. But I told you that under low pH condition it will be protonated. So this will become NH3 plus and then COOH. That is how I wrote this N terminus and C terminus. Got the point? If at all the question was high pH, then I could have written this terminus as NH2 and this side I could have written as at COO minus. Right. Now coming to my peptide sequence. Alanine. Alanine, it is not a basic one, it is a neutral one. So neutral amino acids at the pH 3, it will have a net charge 0. You can verify in this one. Yes, neutral at pH 3 it is having a net charge of 0. So I didn't calculate it. Okay, right. So next is glycine 0. But what about K? K is lysine. No, it is basic. So +1. This I eliminated, no charge. So what about acidic? Acidic also doesn't have any charge at pH 3. That is why I told you if you remember this table, it is going to be very easy for you. Eliminated. Histidine, it is going to be +1. E, lysine, eliminated. This is going to be +1. This is no charge, eliminated. This is going to be +1. This is eliminated. So the net charge is going to be already here. For this one I have +1, right? So this is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 is the answer. I hope that this lecture was helpful to you all. So I have given a practice question for you, right? So they have given a high pH, okay, right? So you are and they have given the sequence only. Okay, in this question they have given the sequence only. Along with it, if not given, you could have used your own method. But here it is given only the sequence. So you are going to find out what is the net charge of this polypeptide at the pH of 7.4. Yes? Okay. So now you are going to calculate and you are going to give me the answer in the comment box. I'll be keep waiting for your answers. So all the very best. It is a simple topic only. Don't panic. Definitely you can learn it up. Only this master table you try to memorize. You can solve any question. All the very best. So you can reach out more of my lectures at Unacademy platform. So you can log on to the website unacademy.com. So there you can get away with my lectures in the CSIR net category. and I am also taking classes for BET, GATE and all. So all the very best. I'll keep you connected till we meet.